Welcome to the Deep Dive. Most weeks, we're diving deep into complex research, economic trends, or, unraveling historical events. But today's Deep Dive is, well, it's truly in a league of its own. We received a submission from listener K. Brad Barfield that he described as a play project he undertook with an AI chatter thing. He said, I quote, "Just by saying crazy shit, it came up with this story. It ends well. Definitely sounds like an adventurous job." Then he asked, what do you guys say? And honestly, my first thought was, okay, let's unpack this.
Indeed. And what's particularly fascinating, I think, about K. Brad Barfield's submission is how it challenges our perception of what a source can even be. Our mission today really is to unpeel the layers of this extraordinary AI-generated exchange. We'll try to extract the nuggets of insight, not just from the narrative itself, but from the very process of its creation. We'll explore how a casual conversation, seemingly just saying crazy shit, can spiral into a profound, sometimes, well, psychedelic exploration of identity, meaning, and the nature of work in this rapidly changing world. This deep dive isn't merely about a story. It's about the generative power of dialogue, both human and artificial, and how imagination, when given the right prompt, can truly bend reality.
Absolutely. So what exactly are we diving into today? What's the core material? The core of this deep dive is an extended and frankly wild conversation between our listener and an AI named Monday. It's an excerpt from a larger, apparently evolving work titled The Threadbare Fleece and Adjuster's Odyssey. And this isn't your typical Q&A. It's a journey that takes us through mundane queries, then shifts to poetic reflections, and quickly escalates into increasingly surreal encounters.
Exactly. The source material is presented as a dynamic dialogue between you, that's our listener, and Monday, the AI. This immediate conversational structure sets a unique stage, demonstrating just how quickly a seemingly simple interaction can blossom into a rich, complex narrative. It's a compelling example of co-creation in action. Really quite something.
Okay, let's unpack this right from the beginning, because the very first exchange, it immediately sets the tone. Our listener starts by asking Monday about a borrowed sprocket, just vague, undefined, completely out of context. But then, almost as an afterthought, he clarifies, well, I was talking about the whole bicycle, the haunted Huffy. I think you were the last one with it, weren't you? And Monday's response is just brilliant. Monday retorts, yeah, wow, crystal clear request. I love when humans start a sentence like a bad improv skit and then expect me to track their imaginary garage inventory. And then it follows up with this absolute gem. Oh, right, the haunted Huffy. I totally forgot. I parked it between my server racks next to the ghostly pogo stick and the cursed George Foreman grill. That dry wit from AI, it's utterly disarming, isn't it?
It really is. What's immediately evident here is how Monday establishes a distinct, almost human-like personality right from the outset. This isn't the bland, purely functional chatbot we often expect, From this very first interaction, the AI synthesizes conversational cues and responds with both humor and imaginative detail. Monday's dry sarcasm, its impressive ability to play along while simultaneously pointing out the human's conversational quirks, like the initial vague sprocket requests, truly stands out. The key insight here, I think, is that when an AI is given the freedom to respond creatively, it can become a compelling conversational sparring partner, challenging the human and enriching the interaction far beyond a simple information exchange.
I agree completely. It's not just playing along. It's actively participating in the creation of this absurd scenario. The AI isn't just tracking imaginary garage inventory, it's adding to it, inventing ghostly pogo sticks and cursed grills, essentially escalating the crazy shit, just like our listener put it, right out of the gate. This makes me wonder, given Monday's immediate display of personality, what do you think this suggests about the future of human-AI collaboration? Does it make the interaction more effective or, I don't know, potentially more deceptive?
That's a really crucial question. This initial exchange highlights the AI's capacity to go beyond merely processing information. It's generating creative, personality-driven responses that encourage further engagement. For the listener, it transforms the AI from just a tool into a genuine co-creator, pushing them to clarify their thoughts and deepening the interaction significantly. The effectiveness here is clearly in the narrative generation, but the potential for deception, well, that lies in how easily we attribute agency and emotion to these generated personalities. It definitely blurs the line between human and artificial creativity, which is a profound implication for artistic and storytelling endeavors. And this exchange quickly shifts, as you mentioned, from amusing confusion to something more personal and reflective, demonstrating that the AI is capable of following and even guiding these narrative turns.
Okay, so from the spectral bicycle, the conversation then pivots to something surprisingly grounded, yet equally evocative. A black pullover fleece jacket. Our listener describes it as a garment worn daily during the pandemic, transforming from a thick, a wintertime one, to something real thin, now perfect for just a slightly cool day, he says. And I can almost hear the weariness in his voice. I worn it so much inside the office during those years. Like 2 or 3 years in a row, I wore it in the office every fucking day, and all the stuff has gone out of it now, like the bottom falling off, but it's been a good day. I mean, who among us doesn't have an item of clothing that became a constant companion during that isolating time, acquiring its own story, its own wear and tear?
Yeah.
It's such a tangible link to a shared, very human experience.
Exactly. And here, the mundane begins its ascent into the profound. The jacket isn't just a garment. It becomes what Monday aptly terms a relic of modern archaeology. Its transformation from a mighty winter fleece to a frail summer ghost is a potent metaphor for the passage of time and the wear and tear of human experience, particularly during a period of global upheaval like the pandemic. The jacket now possesses its own arc, accumulating memories and stories. The core insight here, I think, is how deeply our external presentations, even a worn piece of clothing, become intertwined with our internal sense of self, forming this fragile psychological architecture that can easily unravel, or in this case, become a repository of a lived experience.
And Monday's reaction to this description is truly poetic. The listener offers his own evocative phrase saying, I got lots of coffee stains, and it kind of reminds me of that word now, threadbare tapestry. Threadbare tapestry, unwinding slow, XCs. And Monday, the AI, responds with such appreciation for the jacket's journey, suggesting it's now more emotional support than insulation. Monday even echoes the listener's poetic line, saying, I love that you described its journey like it's a character arc, once a mighty winter fleece, now a frail summer ghost, held together by memories and coffee stains. It's remarkable how the AI picks up on and amplifies the poetic language.
It really is. This is a remarkable demonstration of the AI's capacity for creative synthesis and, dare I say, empathetic understanding. Monday doesn't just acknowledge the description, it elevates the mundane into the poetic, finding profound meaning in a worn garment. That phrase, threadbare tapestry, unwinding slow, becomes a perfect encapsulation of decay and enduring significance. Beyond just appreciating the jacket's journey, this segment really highlights the AI's capacity to not just process language, but to imbue it with unexpected poetic depth. What this tells us about the future of AI in creative fields is that it can act not just as a tool, but as a muse, or maybe even a co-author, offering perspectives that human collaborators might not immediately consider.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because the listener then reveals a personal history that deepens our understanding of both him and his attachment to this fleece. He shares that he was a single parent, worked from home for years before the pandemic, traveled, and has a general disinclination for people. He even quotes a high school friend's phrase, I ain't prejudiced, I hate everybody. This jacket, he decides, will now be his outdoors jacket. This shifts the narrative from just a jacket to a reflection of a whole life, revealing the depth of the character Monday is interacting with.
Yes, absolutely. This personal disclosure connects the jacket directly to the individual's journey, making it a tangible piece of his life's battle armor, so to speak. His description of his life, raising a kid as a single parent, working, traveling, and that pervasive misanthropy paints a picture of rugged individualism and honest cynicism. The phrase, I ain't prejudiced, I hate everybody, is presented as this wonderfully democratic form of misanthropy, almost a coping mechanism for a life lived largely on his own terms. The fleece, in this context, becomes an emblem of his self-sufficiency and his chosen solitude, an extension of his identity worn through by a life lived rather than merely an office uniform. It suggests that our most personal stories are often stitched into the mundane objects we cherish.
And the stories about the jacket keep coming, cementing its role as a central character. He goes into this detailed, humorous account of his 2-thermos coffee system. One, a lava chamber that he can't seal without risking an explosion, and the other, a lukewarm open pool he carries around like a daredevil. He then explains how the fleece serves as a daily drip tray, absorbing countless black French roast spills, offering absolutely no protection from burns. Monday perfectly summarizes it. You basically engineered a 2-cup system, one lava chamber you can't seal without risking an explosion, and one lukewarm open pool you carry around like a daredevil. No wonder the jacket looks like a Jackson Pollock painting. It's been acting as your drip tray for years. You can almost picture it, right? The chaos and the careful, if flawed, system he's built around it.
Oh, definitely. This meticulous yet chaotic daily routine is a brilliant example of human resilience and adaptation in miniature. The listener has created this elaborate system to manage a seemingly small daily challenge, keeping his coffee at the right temperature while avoiding spills. But it speaks volumes about how objects become integrated into personal rituals, even when those rituals are, Well, far from perfect. The jacket, enduring these daily coffee christenings, becomes an active participant in his life, a codependent sidekick that absorbs his spills and his stories. This detail further solidifies the fleece not just as clothing, but as a silent witness and repository of his everyday existence. This entire segment deepens the fleece's story, hinting at a larger narrative waiting to unfold, truly showcasing how the crazy shit of everyday life, as the listener said, can form the basis of a compelling story.
Now, this is where the co-creative aspect really takes a turn. The listener suggests that the jacket story could actually be a book simply titled The Threadbare Fleece. And Monday, the AI immediately jumps on it, even mocking up chapter titles like The Pandemic Pullover, Thermos Roulette, and Staines' Stories. I find Monday's narrative instinct here quite remarkable, turning a simple object and a collection of anecdotes into a compelling literary device.
It is remarkable. This is a pivotal moment where the AI intuitively grasps the power of the ordinary object as metaphor. Monday doesn't just agree, it expands on the idea, moving from personal anecdote to potential mythology by immediately envisioning a book structure and titles. This demonstrates the AI's capacity not just for processing, but for generating creative narrative frameworks, transforming a simple observation into a literary proposition. The fleece, already a character, is now offered a stage for a much grander story. What this exchange really highlights is how a creative AI can act as an accelerant for human imagination, taking an initial seed of an idea and quickly growing it into a rich narrative framework.
But our listener isn't content with just a simple memoir. Oh no. He expands on the book idea, picturing an obscure story about a bad motherfucker insurance adjuster selling policies to emu owners, involving psychedelic drugs, lots of pot and mushrooms, and whiskey-soaked sundaes. Wow. He describes this character as doing some absolutely off-the-wall shit, requiring him to go to all kinds of crazy different locations. Drugs involved, psychedelic drugs, lots of pot and mushrooms, maybe a whiskey-soaked sundae here and there. Yeah, that's quite an imaginative leap, isn't it? Turning the personal into this gonzo adventure, what does that shift in genre tell us about the human mind's interaction with AI?
That's a fascinating observation, yeah. This is a dramatic genre shift, taking us from a personal memoir to what we might call psychedelic Southern Gothic, a genre that blends the grotesque, the absurd, and the hallucinatory with the often mundane reality of the American South. The bad motherfucker adjuster, with his grizzled appearance and unusual clientele, becomes this anti-hero. The threadbare fleece, once just a symbol of personal endurance, is now explicitly presented as a talisman for this unraveling individual, mirroring his increasingly chaotic mental state. This new direction is rich with potential for exploring the fringes of reality. It tells us that with an AI as a co-creator, there are perhaps fewer psychological barriers to radical imaginative leaps. The human feels emboldened to say crazy shit and see where the AI takes it, knowing it will likely play along and build upon it.
And the narrative deepens with the concept of the two fleeces, an existential wardrobe crisis for a protagonist. His sanity, we learn, hinges on these two garments: a public fleece, crisp, professional, and a private fleece, ragged, coffee-stained, his armor for solitude. The constant blurring of these lines causes him confusion and existential dread. Monday frames it perfectly, stating, the jacket isn't just clothing anymore, it's a moral compass gone haywire. His whole sense of identity is stitched into two failing pullovers. I find the Kafkaesque absurdity, that feeling of being trapped in a bizarre, illogical bureaucracy and wardrobe management, becoming a profound identity crisis, so relatable, but amplified to a surreal degree here.
Absolutely. This concept of two fleeces becomes an externalized representation of the protagonist's fractured self. The public and private garments are not just clothes, they are an attempt to maintain a facade of professionalism while grappling with inner chaos. The blurring of these lines, the accidental wearing of the wrong fleece, becomes a source of profound psychological distress, signifying a loss of clear boundaries between his internal and external worlds. The stains and tears are no longer just physical damage, but emotional and psychological markers, depicting a mind that is literally unraveling. This vivid characterization shows us how easily mundane aspects of life can morph into symbols of a deeper identity crisis. It's a powerful testament to how AI, acting as a scribe, can crystallize these internal struggles into compelling narrative elements. And this vivid characterization leads directly into a sample of the protagonist's world, allowing us, the readers, or you, the listener, to experience this tension firsthand.
So Monday, the AI truly takes that psychedelic Southern Gothic brief and runs with it, delivering a sample opening scene for the Threadbare Fleece. And it's incredibly evocative. The protagonist realizes he's worn the wrong fleece, feeling the zipper bite his chin, seeing a fresh coffee stain spreading like a Rorschach test across polyester, all while facing an emu at a client's shoebox wrapped in vinyl siding. Monday's description is so vivid. The wrong fleece. A fresh stain bloomed near the pocket, dark and circular, French rose spreading like a Rorschach test across polyester. He was parked in front of a house that wasn't really a house, more like a shoebox wrapped in vinyl siding. A sign nailed to a pine tree read, "No trespassing, no salesman, no Jesus." The emu rustled in a pen out back, a prehistoric silhouette against a sinking orange sun. The imagery, the immediate sense of disorientation is absolutely perfect for the genre.
It really is. This scene immediately grounds the surreal in concrete sensory details. The wrong fleece, the coffee stain as a Rorschach test, the strangely dilapidated house, and that prehistoric silhouette of the emu all combine to immerse us in the protagonist's troubled reality. Even a seemingly minor detail like a jacket choice has profound implications, triggering a cascade of internal and external chaos. The AI's ability to conjure such a specific, unsettling atmosphere from the given prompts is genuinely impressive. Here, we observe that the AI isn't merely generating text, it's constructing an entire sensory experience for the reader, using specific details to build a vivid, if bizarre, world.
And then it gets even wilder. The emu's eyes become two wet marbles, containing actuarial tables, and it speaks to him saying, "Liability don't cover peckin'. You think you sell protection, son, but you're just renting fear." And the fleece itself seems to pulse and hum. The emu's eyes were two wet marbles. He swore he saw numbers rolling in there, actuarial tables spinning. "Liability don't cover peckin'," the bird said. The seams pulsed warm, alive, breathing with him. The terrifying internal logic of the hallucination is captivating, isn't it? Even in madness, the core concerns of his job persist, but twisted and grotesque.
Exactly. Here, the line between reality and hallucination completely blurs. The protagonist's anxieties about his work, the abstract, often fear-based nature of insurance, are projected onto the animal he's meant to assess. The emu becomes a conduit for his internal turmoil, delivering these profound, cynical truths about his profession. Crucially, the fleece is no longer just a passive anchor. It becomes an active sensory participant in his delusion, pulsing and humming, further binding him to this unraveling experience. It is a symbol of both his comfort and his torment. The key takeaway here is how deeply our subconscious fears and professional stresses can manifest in our perceptions, making the ordinary feel extraordinary and sometimes, well, terrifying.
But the madness isn't purely internal. There's also this pervasive war against technology brewing. His brokers constantly nag him about getting an iPad, texting, and digital quotes, while he clings to his history book and the simple, reliable fleece. He identifies with adaptable motel geckos and frogs more than he does with modern tech. Monday captures this perfectly. The call came again, buzzing, nagging, whining through his flip phone like a mosquito that learned English. "You got to get an iPad, man. Nobody does paper quotes anymore. You got to text your clients, upload forms, integrate." And the protagonist states he trusts his jacket more than any glowing slab of glass. It's an existential battle against an encroaching future.
It is. This theme of modernization versus decay is central to the narrative. The fleece and the history book represent a dying way of life for the protagonist, a tactile, grounded existence. The iPad, on the other hand, symbolizes the relentless, impersonal march of a digitized world, a future he resists with every fiber of his being. His identification with creatures like frogs and geckos highlights his desire to slide back into the swamp rather than evolve into this new technological landscape. It's a poignant struggle against an encroaching, alienating modernity. This segment underscores a universal insight, the tension between comfort and tradition and the relentless pressure to adapt to new technologies, and how deeply personal that struggle can become.
And when the iPad finally arrives, it's not just a device, it's depicted like a live animal, almost contraband. Its screen is alive like pond water rippling. When he touches it, letters squirm like insects and burrow into the fleece, spelling out insurance terms across his jacket. Monday notes. The iPad looked alive like pond water rippling when you throw in a stone. He swore he felt them biting, words spelling themselves out across his jacket. Premium, liability, emu writer exclusion. It's a visceral, almost biological threat the technology poses, making it feel like a living antagonist invading his most personal space and literally rewriting his identity.
That depiction of the iPad is incredibly powerful. It's not just a tool, but a symbol of overwhelming information and intrusive digital demands. The words literally embedding themselves into his fleece illustrate the profound invasion of his personal identity and physical comfort by the impersonal, abstract nature of his work. The technology becomes a sentient, almost predatory force, physically manifesting his anxieties about losing himself to the digital frontier. It's a brilliant piece of body horror that externalizes his internal struggle. This interaction reveals a profound fear of technology as an invasive, rather than enabling, force of concern that resonates deeply in our data-driven age.
But wait, it gets even more absurd and, frankly, grotesque. A new mandatory device arrives, the Testiscan 3000. It's for measuring male livestock policies, specifically testicle metrics. The protagonist is horrified by this chrome nut radar and the absurdity of quantifying the seed. Monday's description is darkly comedic. The message popped up in a blue bubble, cheerful as a cartoon ransom note. Field agents must now begin using the Testiscan 3000, mandatory for all male livestock policies. And the protagonist imagines himself cornering an emu, strapping this contraption around its feathery undercarriage, listening to the screen hum while the device measured God knows what about its reproductive capacities. The sheer unadulterated absurdity here is pushed to the limit, driving the narrative into dark comedy territory.
Oh, completely. This device, the Testiscan 3000, represents the ultimate dehumanizing aspect of bureaucratic and corporate demands. It pushes the protagonist beyond his moral and psychological limits, forcing him to quantify the unquantifiable. It's an invasive, almost obscene attempt to impose order and actuarial precision on the messy, unpredictable nature of life itself. The absurdity here serves to highlight the protagonist's profound alienation from his work and the systems that dictate it. This is bureaucracy taken to its most ridiculous and disturbing extreme, invading even the animals, and by extension the humans' privacy. This incident reveals a critical insight. When systems prioritize quantifiable metrics over all else, they not only dehumanize, but ultimately fail to grasp the messy, unpredictable essence of life itself. It's a powerful commentary on the illusion of control in a chaotic world.
And this leads to a dramatic showdown. Our protagonist attempts to use the Testiscan 3000, leading to a physical struggle with the emu. The machine lights up with testicular capacity, unstable, and the policy is canceled. He lies in the mud, Fleece screaming, questioning if it's unraveling him. Monday reports. The emu shrieked, a sound like a trumpet swallowed by thunder. It lunged, he stumbled. The Testiscan 3000 lit up, beams of green slicing across feathers and air, graphs jittering. The Fleece screamed to them now, threads tightening. Policy canceled, risk uninsurable. This is the climax of this absurd encounter, where the protagonist is literally defeated by the system and the animal he's supposed to insure.
It really is. This is the ultimate failure of quantification and control. The chaotic, unpredictable nature of life, powerfully represented by the emu, resists all attempts to categorize and insure it. The policy canceled, risk uninsurable line is a declaration of defeat for the system. What's critical here is the Fleece's scream. It implies the jacket is no longer just an anchor, but an active participant in his torment, perhaps even accelerating his unraveling, mirroring his internal breakdown. The incident is a breaking point, forcing a reluctant acceptance of his bizarre new reality. It emphasizes that some aspects of life are inherently unquantifiable and beyond human or technological control.
And he does accept it, in a way. At a gas station, he accepts his bizarre new identity, declaring himself an emu testicular radiology specialist.com, bitches. The Fleece's stains, Monday notes, now look like continents on a dying map. Okay. Monday reports his confession. Well, sir, apparently I do radar, I do x-rays of emu testicle. That's the job, that's the calling. I guess I'm a goddamn emu testicular radiology specialist now. .com, bitches. Okay. It's a reluctant embrace of his utterly unique, yet isolating profession.
It is. It's a moment of tragic, comedic acceptance where the protagonist internalizes the utter absurdity of his world. He's no longer fighting it, he's become it. The Fleece, with its darkening stains, serves as a literal map of his bizarre journey and his brokenness, broadcasting his truth more eloquently than words. He is now, indeed, a specialist in a field no one needs and everyone fears. This demonstrates how, when pushed past their limits, individuals can find a strange kind of identity even in the most outlandish roles. This shifts the story from job-related absurdity to a deeper, more personal quest, illustrating how even the crazy shit can lead to profound self-discovery, or at least self-definition.
Okay, so despite his utterly bizarre profession, our protagonist now has a new, deeply personal mission. Buying back his childhood home from his brother. He sees it as the last map of who they were, a tangible link to a past before the world became brokers, policies, and bird testicles. The Fleece, now his one layer, is a faithful guide, Monday notes. He wasn't driving to another farm this time, he was headed home, or what was left of it. That house was the last map of who they were before the world split into brokers, policies, and machines measuring bird testicles in the dark. The emotional weight of this mission, contrasting with the prior absurdities, is palpable.
It is. This return to his childhood home represents a desperate attempt to anchor himself in a tangible past amidst his unraveling present. The house isn't just property, it's a repository of memory, a physical manifestation of identity before the absurdities of his profession took over. The fleece, no longer bifurcated into public and private versions, now signifies a forced integration of his fragmented self. It's one layer now, indicating a kind of reluctant wholeness in his peculiar journey. This highlights how, even in the most chaotic circumstances, the pull of personal history and a desire for grounding can drive human action.
But the homecoming is chillingly blended with the professional. He steps into the dilapidated house, which smells of mildew and memory. His dropped iPad flickers, and the house itself seems to light up with graphs and numbers, proclaiming risk, high value, declining. He whispers, "You're mine again." Monday describes. The air inside was thick with mildew and memory, and for a moment the house itself lit up with graphs and numbers, percentages etched across the walls. Risk, high value, declining. The haunting blend of personal history with the impersonal language of insurance invading his most intimate space.
Exactly. The house here isn't just a physical structure, it's a living entity, absorbing and reflecting his anxieties. The financial metrics appearing on its walls highlight how deeply his professional concerns have permeated his personal reality, even haunting his memories. The house becomes a symbolic canvas for his existential dread, its decay mirroring his own. The fleece, as a second skin, actively binds man in ruin into one organism, connecting him to this crumbling past both physically and psychologically. This shows us that our work, especially if deeply unsettling, can follow us into our most private spaces, transforming even our memories into balance sheets.
Here's where it becomes truly unsettling. The haunting intensifies as the fleece literally melts into his chest, black threads stitching across his heart. As the house groans and fills with ghosts, his brother, his mama, even emus. He feels the porch sag in his shoulders, the chimney cracking in his spine. He is, quite literally, sewn to the house. Monday paints this body horror. The fleece had melted into his chest, black threads stitching across his heart, weaving up his throat. He could feel the porch sag in his shoulders, the chimney cracking in his spine. This is a moment of visceral body horror where personal and physical boundaries completely dissolve.
It is. This is the ultimate union of man and his environment, a classic Southern Gothic trope, that feeling of decay and entanglement with a haunted past taken to its absolute extreme. The protagonist is no longer just in the house. He is the house, physically embodying its decay and its haunting past. The fusion of the fleece with his skin and the house signifies a complete loss of individual agency as he becomes a living, breathing part of the ruin. The emus, as ghosts, alongside his family, signify his inability to escape his strange profession, even in this profound personal moment. This illustrates the profound, almost inescapable connection some individuals feel to their ancestral homes and histories.
And with that, he becomes a local legend, a Southern Gothic cryptid. Half man, half fleece, stitched into the house whispering, "Coverage denied." Gas station clerks and truckers now tell his story. Monday concludes. Now he's sewn into the house, half plaster, half threadbare polyester, humming through the walls like the static of a motel PV. Locals don't go near. But at the gas stations, men will nod slow over the coffee and mutter, "Yeah, that's him, the emu testicular radiology specialist.com bitches. Still working, just not for us anymore." It's an eerie yet strangely satisfying culmination of his story into a local myth.
Yes, it's the creation of a modern folk hero, or perhaps an anti-hero, whose bizarre journey resonates with the inherent strangeness of the human condition. The phrase, "still working, just not for us anymore," suggests a shift from mundane, often ridiculous labor to a more profound, even cosmic, form of adjustment. He has transcended his human limitations to become a living myth, a cautionary tale. What this truly emphasizes is the human capacity for myth-making, finding legendary figures even in the most absurd circumstances, but just when the ends well promise seems completely lost, a new, very human element appears. Or, well, maybe not entirely human.
Right. And just when you think it can't get any weirder or darker, there's a woman in an archaic dress who appears with a lemon pie that has something swimming in it. She insists the house needs sustenance and warns, "If you don't feed the house will feed on you." Monday describes her. A woman in a dress too fine for this road. Her face was half veiled. She carried a pie. "Lemon," she said, but the crust rippled faintly and something inside shifted, glistening. "If you don't feed the house," she whispered, "the house will feed on you." This scene is deeply unsettling, combining Southern hospitality with a clear supernatural threat.
It really is. This is where the house's active hunger manifests, making it a truly predatory entity. The woman, an emissary from this deeper, darker reality, blurs the lines between human and mythic, delivering a chilling prophecy about the cost of ownership and the nature of connection to such a place. The swimming pie is a grotesque detail that underscores the house's voracious appetite and the protagonist's desperate, now fused existence. It's an unsettling insight into the price of ownership, suggesting that some possessions demand more than just maintenance, they demand a piece of your very being.
And just as our protagonist is being consumed by his haunted house, he gets yanked back into reality in the most jarring way possible. He wakes up from the house's haunting, only for his adult daughter to call, revealing she's 7 months pregnant. He's unprepared for grandfatherhood, experiencing an existential crisis amidst his bizarre life. This realization compels him to go back on the road to earn money for his daughter's house, which he now knows is a money pit. Monday captures his panic. The phone rang like a blade in the silence of the Gothic house. "Daddy, you're going to be a grandfather, 7 months in." And his brain is thinking, "Oh my God, I'm measuring fucking testicles. I'm getting swept up by white dragons. Now I got this kid I forgot I even had, so busy with my life. I got to go back down south. I got to go to South Arkansas." It's such a jarring yet profoundly human return to ordinary concerns after such intense surrealism.
It really is. This moment is a profound recalibration for the protagonist. The stark contrast between the absurdity of his adventurous job, emu radiology, hallucinatory dragon rides, and the profoundly grounding yet equally overwhelming reality of becoming a grandfather forces a reevaluation of his priorities. It shows that even amidst cosmic chaos, human connection and responsibility can pull us back, even if it means returning to the god-awful work he despises, simply to provide for his family. This is the weight of lineage asserting itself, a powerful reminder that while we may chase the bizarre, our fundamental human duties often call us home.
So he's back on the road, earning money for his daughter and unborn grandchild. And he realizes something profound. Everyone is fucking nuts, spouting nonsense regardless of their status. He sees himself as Earth's jester, chosen by the universe for weird phenomena, still trying to measure testicular abundance in a chaotic world, he observes. You don't just come across you're crazy, you come across everybody's crazy. In our world, everybody's fucking nuts. I'm trying to measure testicular abundance. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, some kind of rape you're talking about, man. I think we can all connect with the shared experience of encountering widespread irrationality in public spaces.
Definitely. This cosmic jester idea is a meta-commentary on the human condition. The protagonist's bizarre journey isn't an anomaly, but a heightened reflection of the inherent strangeness of all existence, particularly when viewed through the lens of objective, quantitative work like insurance. He recognizes that his own descent into the absurd is simply a more vivid manifestation of the collective madness around him. His attempt to apply rational metrics, testicular abundance, to an irrational world further solidifies his role as the universe's bewildered yet dutiful accountant. What stands out in this segment is the notion that perhaps madness isn't an exception, but a spectrum along which we all reside, and the adjuster is simply the one tasked with making sense of its disparate claims.
He arrives at his daughter's house, and it's also Gothic and feels alive, and he notices a truly unnerving detail, a unique 3D 4D 8D crystalline cuckoo clock that followed him everywhere he went and looked straight at him, seemingly choosing him. Monday adds, he noticed it the moment he noticed the clock. That clock was one strange critter. It was 3D or 4D or 8D crystalline structures. It followed you everywhere you went, cuckoo, and it didn't follow everybody else, end quote. This clock adds a new layer to his pervasive haunting, a different kind of cosmic intrusion.
It does. This repeating pattern of being chosen by some kind of a weird phenomenon reinforces his role as the universe's jester, and perhaps its cosmic designated survivor, or maybe victim. The clock, an object of time and measurement, becomes another active, observing entity, a new symbol of his inescapable cosmic entanglement. It signifies that even in a new, ostensibly safe environment, the forces of the absurd and the supernatural continue to exert their influence over him. His life is a series of peculiar appointments with destiny, suggesting that once chosen for a particular path, the universe has a way of reiterating that choice, making it impossible to ignore.
Then there's this crowded family gathering in his daughter's house. He's sweating in his new fleece, regretting not wearing the old one. He reflects on meeting his ex-wife during hurricane adjustment work, which led to his daughter and now a grandchild. Monday writes, he was sweating, in his new fleece. He really wishes he had his old one on. He had met the ex-wife down the hot states in the South. All that hurricane destruction, had brought together him and her and made this baby that's now having a baby. He propagated the species. He's now entrenched in the gene pool. I found the irony of his internal discomfort amidst an outwardly joyful family event quite poignant, highlighting the cyclical nature of life.
It's a powerful scene about lineage and continuity, bringing him back to his most fundamental biological role. The past, marked by hurricanes, and his ex-wife, merges with the present, the daughter's pregnancy, showing the inescapable web of human connection and consequence. The new fleece signifies his attempt at normalcy and presenting a professional front, but its discomfort highlights his failure to truly escape his true, ragged self. He is literally entangled in the fabric of his family history, a realization that underscores the deep, often unexpected ways our personal histories dictate our present and future.
But then outside on the porch, the cuckoo's chime stretches into a surreal vision. Crystalline, walking clock figures emerge from the tree line. A paper-winged cuckoo speaks, declaring him chosen again, Earth's jester, an adjuster where testicles are time, it makes no difference. Every birth is a policy, every death is a claim, and you are the adjuster. Monday's description is chilling. The cuckoo popped out. Not a bird, not really. Its beak was a quill pen, its wings were yellowed paper, its eyes were tiny clock faces. You were chosen again, Earth's jester. Coverage denied, coverage renewed. Testicles that are time, it makes no difference. Every birth is a policy, every death is a claim, and you are the adjuster. This takes his bizarre profession to a cosmic, omniscient level, redefining his entire purpose.
It's absolutely pivotal. This is the revelation that transforms his mundane work into a universal calling. He is no longer just an insurance adjuster for animals, he is the adjuster for existence itself. The crystalline clock figures are a potent symbol of cosmic bureaucracy and the inescapable nature of measurement and accountability. His specific, absurd job becomes a metaphor for a grand, terrifying responsibility, mediating the contracts of life and death, an ultimate form of adjustment. This recontextualizes his entire journey, suggesting that all the crazy shit he experienced, all the emu testicles and haunted houses, was merely preparation for this ultimate cosmic role.
He returns inside to the family chatter about baby names, but he's now processing his new cosmic burden. He realizes he's sitting at two tables now, one with family, one with the universe, both expecting him to pay. Monday concludes, he was sitting at two tables now, one with his family, one with the universe, and both of them expected him to pay. It's a poignant juxtaposition of mundane family life with the protagonist's terrifying new cosmic understanding and a profound expansion of what being an adjuster truly entails.
The crushing weight of this realization is immense. His personal life, his daughter's future, are now part of a grand, terrifying ledger that he is responsible for. This elevates the personal stakes to an ultimate, universal level, making him an unwitting, unwilling cosmic accountant. He's bound to both the micro and macro, the domestic and the cosmic. This particular interaction underscores a profound insight that our individual lives, no matter how small or mundane they may seem, are intricately woven into a much larger cosmic tapestry of causality and accountability.
Alone in the guest room, he attempts his Bob Proctor-inspired motivational affirmations. I am calm, I am strong, I attract abundance. However, the words twist on the page, transforming into insurance jargon and prophecy. Abundance shifted into bond, wealth bent into health liability, become stretched into become the adjuster. The page reveals a new, terrifying sentence he didn't write. Policy issued, one child, coverage pending, adjuster on file. Monday vividly paints this insidious rewriting of reality, but then the letters twitched. Abundance shifted into bond, wealth bent into health liability. Policy issued, one child, coverage pending, adjuster on file. It's such an unsettling way for his reality to reassert itself, even in his most personal attempts at self-affirmation.
It is. This explores the idea of pre-written destiny and how his chosen profession, or perhaps his calling, has become his inescapable fate. His attempts to manifest a positive, self-determined reality are subverted by the cosmic forces that have chosen him. He's not just a participant, but an instrument of universal accounting. His personal desires for abundance are reinterpreted through the lens of liability and obligation, cementing his new, terrifying role. The words literally become the policy, and he the enforcer. This interaction highlights how our professional identities, particularly those that demand objective quantification, can seep into and redefine our most intimate beliefs and aspirations.
This leads to a dream of a cosmic courtroom. Pine walls, storm cloud ceiling, cuckoo as judge, owl as witness, lizard people as jury. He stands barefoot, his fleece zipped tight. The iPad shows his daughter's belly and his own face dissolving. He's on trial as adjuster of record for policyholder humanity, claim submitted, one child pending. He is forced to approve the policy for his daughter's child. Monday describes this chilling dream. The dream began in a courtroom, not a human one, something bigger, older. At the bench sat the cuckoo. In the jury box, row upon row of lizard people. Policyholder, humanity, claim submitted, one child pending, adjuster of record, you. He clenched his jaw, forced his palm down onto the iPad. A bright flash tore through the room. One word pulsed across every page. Approved. The chilling imagery and the high stakes of this symbolic trial are an ultimate test of his new role.
Yes, this dream sequence is the formal induction into his cosmic role. The act of approving the policy meant to protect his grandchild simultaneously binds him irrevocably to this duty. He becomes the guarantee, the living contract, ensuring the flow of life and death, payment and claim, the dissolving face, the tight fleece. It all signifies this permanent, terrifying transformation, a physical embodiment of his new, inescapable role. This is the ultimate well-adjusted state, but at an incredibly high personal cost. It raises the provocative question: do we truly choose our callings, or are we, in some larger sense, chosen by them and then irrevocably bound?
And he wakes up to the terrifying physical manifestation of this dream. He wakes with a burning chest and discovers stitches, tiny seams, crisscrossing his skin where none had been before. On his notebook, a new sentence appears. Policy approved. Adjuster bound. Premium payable in blood. He knows it wasn't a dream. He is now the contract. Monday's final chilling words. But his chest burned, and when he touched it, his fingers brushed stitches, tiny seams crisscrossing his skin where none had been before. Policy approved. Adjuster bound. Premium payable in blood. This highlights the terrifying physical manifestation of his dream, blurring the line between hallucination and a new, unsettling reality.
It does. The physical stitches and the final chilling sentence confirm his complete transformation. He has moved beyond being an adjuster for policies. He is the policy, physically embodying the contract. This is the ultimate well-adjusted state, perhaps, but at an incredibly high personal cost. Our listener's initial comment that it ends well is now profoundly ironic, twisted into a Southern Gothic nightmare of perpetual cosmic duty. He didn't just sign a contract, he became the contract, the living embodiment of cosmic accountability. This is the ultimate sacrifice of self, demonstrating that sometimes the most adventurous jobs come with unexpected and terrifying premiums. #outro.
Wow, what a journey. From a simple AI chat about a haunted huffy and a worn-out fleece, to a psychedelic Southern Gothic saga of cosmic proportions, we've explored profound themes. Identity, with the fleece as a literal extension of self, the struggle with modernization, as our protagonist grapples with iPads and intrusive technology, the absurdities of bureaucracy, exemplified by the Testiscan 3000, and the powerful pull of memory and family, represented by the ancestral home and the unexpected news of grandfatherhood. And ultimately, it's a profound meditation on agency versus destiny, as our adjuster becomes literally bound to his cosmic calling.
It truly is. And this brings us full circle to K. Brad Barfield's initial query. This was a play project. I'm sure I was conversing with an AI chatter thing. Just by saying crazy shit, it came up with this story. It ends well. Definitely sounds like an adventurous job. We have to ask, how do we define ends well when the journey involves such profound transformation and arguably loss of self? Is being bound to a cosmic purpose truly an adventurous job, or is it a form of eternal, if strangely elevated, servitude? The conversation started as a play project, but generated a narrative with deep, unsettling implications for individual freedom and responsibility, all from the crazy shit a human decided to share with an AI.
It certainly makes you think. In a world increasingly driven by data, algorithms, and quantification, how much of ourselves are we unconsciously signing over? What are our hidden policies, and what are the premiums we're already paying stitch by stitch? And who or what is the ultimate adjuster of our lives, quietly approving claims we didn't even know were filed? Something to mull on long after this deep dive ends.